I'm Cass. Welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited to share with you my beginning journal pages. Now, I didn't set this up at the end of June simply because I had enough room in my journal for July. However, starting in August, I really did need to move into my new bullet journal, and so I thought I would go ahead and just share this. I had a few beginning pages that I set up at the beginning of the year, and there are many that I'm not transferring into my new journal simply because I never ended up using them. And it just wasn't I just never used them. So I wanted to transfer the pages that I did use and leave the ones behind that I didn't use at all, because I didn't want to try to set them up in my new journal and then also leave them empty. But if you are here to plan with me, go ahead and grab your stationery and journal. And if you are here to just listen to me ramble and talk about my journal, make sure you have a nice beverage, and let's go ahead and get into planning. There's something so satisfying about journaling and having to start a new journal mid-year. It gives you such a mid-year reset, even if your life is in utter chaos. The excitement of starting a new journal literally never fades, and I've been journaling for over 4 years now. So clearly, I'm gonna keep up at this because I'm telling you, knowing that I filled in and completed a whole journal and getting to start a new one, top tier feeling. You gotta let me know if y'all agree with me or if I'm just crazy. Now, what you saw there was me putting a nice little pearl C on the cover. Now, I only have one more left of those, I do believe, because the company that sold them stopped making them, which is really annoying. So now I've got to find an alternate of what letter sticker to stick on the front of my covers, because I really fell in love with the pearl and how pretty they are. But enough about that. Let's talk about the journal that I'm actually using. Now, if you watch a lot of bullet journalists on YouTube or on Instagram, you know that they use Archer and Olive a lot of the time, or another really popular brand, Lecture. There's a few other that I can't think of for the life of me, but the journal I'm using is actually none of those. It's a Scrivwell journal. Now, the thing about Scrivwell is it has thinner pages than the Archer and Olive. I have the stats actually pulled up to read to you. So the Scrivwell has 120 GSM, and the Archer and Olive have 160 GSM. However, I don't mind the thinner pages. There is like the faintest of ghosting, and the journals are much cheaper. And so if you're looking to get into bullet journaling and you've never journaled before and you don't want to drop like $30 on a notebook, these are on Amazon for like $10, like 10 to 12 bucks. Now, not sponsored or anything, but I'm a huge promoter of Scrivwell just because I feel like a lot of people who bullet journal use these super expensive journals, and sometimes you feel like you need to also use expensive journals to get into it. But if you're just starting, there's no need to break the bank. So Scrivwell is definitely a cheap alternative if you're looking for a nice affordable journal. Now, I am using it in the size A5, so it's about 5.75 inches by 8.25 inches, dotted obviously because it's a bullet journal. And now let's get to talking about my spreads that I'm making now that I've rambled on about the journal that I'm using. So this is a new journal, so I don't need the beginning of 2022 in this journal since I already have that in my previous journal. So I just transferred over July through December for my year at a glance. Now, this is quite a simple page, just slightly time consuming with all the little tiny numbers that you have to write. So I just leave a little bit of room underneath each month to write any important dates. Now, typically these are birthdays, concerts, or some sort of appointment that I have, or vacations. You'll see me fill it out here in a second. In fact, I fill out all of my pages at least halfway, just for you get the sort of idea of how I use these spreads. It's nice that I can do that because I'm just transferring over information. I'm not having to fill it out as I go throughout the year until starting in July, of course. Now, the theme I went for my beginning pages last year, or I guess technically the beginning of this year, was like gray. It was block letters and gray, and typically I keep with the theme that I used in my last journal for continuity reasons. However, I wasn't feeling that and I wanted something more fun, and I have been on a huge mushroom kick of liking drawing mushrooms and the aesthetic of mushrooms. And so I wanted to include mushrooms in some form or factor. So I decided on plants, flowers, and mushrooms. And I don't 100% love the color palette, I'll be honest, because I didn't think that pink and green was such a cliche, like early 2000s color palette. I don't know if that makes sense, but pink and green just... Cosmo and Wanda, bro. No, I'm kidding. It's like that TikTok challenge. You know, the one where you look around your room and you see pink and green next to each other and it's like, oh, it's Cosmo and Wanda from Fairly Odd Parents. Oh, I guess I should give a preface if this is the first video you're watching. I go off on stupid tangents just out of nowhere. So there's your warning, even though it just happened. What was I even talking about? Pink and green, not my favorite combo of colors. Like, I love it, but I don't. I don't know how to explain it, but I wish I went with a different color palette. I don't know which color palette I would have gone with. I'm not great with colors, I'll be honest, but it looks pretty. It's just not the vibe that I exactly wanted, if that makes sense. Probably not. Anyway, we're gonna just move on because I don't know where I'm going with my sentences. This is my 2022 social media growth. So I track the growth on YouTube, on Instagram, and on my Etsy. Or I guess Instagrams, plural. So I just have a graph here. Now, I will admit that not everyone needs this if you don't do YouTube or if you don't do social media, but I wanted to still do these pages for me, obviously, and then maybe they'll help you think outside of the box of what pages you can include in the beginning of your bullet journal. So here I track my subscribers, views, amount of videos I post each month, and then my revenue. I'm a stats girly. Like, I love me some stats, and so that's mostly why I do this, not because I'm obsessed with numbers. I'm obsessed with collecting data, but not obsessing over the data, if that makes sense. I just like numbers. I don't know. And then I have my 3 Instagrams that I want to track, which is my main Instagram, doodlewithcass, which is where I post pictures of my bullet journal as well as some bookish and life things. So shameless little self-promo while I'm talking about it. You should go follow my Instagram. It is linked in the description. And then I have my other Instagram, which is Oakleaf Arrow Studios, which is for my Etsy shop, which I have not posted on since like December of last year. So maybe I should get back to doing that, which is why I transferred that over, because I do want to get back into actually posting and doing things on my Etsy, but it just hasn't happened. And then the third one I threw on there is Kpop with Cass. I recently joined a dance team, which I'll talk about later because I also have another page that is related to K-pop and dancing. But I have an Instagram where I post, and it's tiny. Like, I just started it just for I had a place to put my K-pop dance covers because I didn't want to post it on my personal account because I don't need strangers watching me dance. Okay, nope, that was a stupid sentence. I don't need people I know watching me dance. I'm fine with strangers watching me dance if they also like K-pop, but people I know, they don't need to be seeing me do K-pop dances, okay? I don't need their judgment. Not that I care, but I just wanted a separate place. Okay, anyway, then at the very bottom, I have Oakleaf Arrow Studios, sales and profit. So I just write down the number of sales I have each month and then the amount of profit, which again, I will fill out this page in 30 or so seconds, I'm guessing, after I color in the leaves and the mushrooms and the flowers with my not fantastic color palette. I want to mention why I did the bubbles on the Instagram, simply because the spaces were so tightly packed. I didn't think I would have enough room to actually write all the numbers without them getting meshed into one really long number. So I did the colors to kind of break up each segment. And the reason why the K-pop one starts in July is because I didn't start tracking the numbers until now. So that is the reason. So as you can see, I'm just filling out how everything looks, and it's just so pretty. Like, I love graphs. I love me some graphs. I love me some numbers, and I love it. Oh, and now I get to talk about my K-pop dances. So this is labeled Kpop Dances 2022. And I recently joined a dance team, like I mentioned earlier, so I thought it'd be fun to track dances we do. And then I also wanted to track choreography that I learn on my own as well, or choreography I want to learn. So if I see choreography I really like and I'm like, I want to learn that for myself or to possibly film for my Instagram, then I can write it down and track the progress and stuff. So I really suck at voiceovers, and I've been doing YouTube for way too long to still suck at voiceovers, but that is what you signed up for when you clicked on this video. I mean, unknowingly, granted, but all my voiceovers are like this, so if you don't enjoy the chaos, don't come back. Because all of my voiceovers are garbage. Some people say they enjoy them though, so that is what is fueling my ego and keeping me going. Anyways, the divider line I decided to do as a plant instead of just like a black bar, and I don't know, it looked kind of cool-ish. And then as for the columns, I have the song name and then the artist, whether it's a girl group or a guy group, just for me knowing if I'm keeping balance with trying to learn both girl groups and guy groups, and then whether I learn the full song or the chorus. Now, I don't typically learn full songs just for the heck of it. Since I'm on that dance team, there are songs that I need to learn the entire things to. And then at the very end is the completed column where I just give that a little check mark. Now, originally, when I was filling in the girl versus guy and then full versus chorus, I was going to just write little check marks, but instead I thought, why not keep with the theme? So on the girl versus guy, if it was a girl group, I did a little flower in the column, and then same thing for the guy group, I just drew a flower in that column. And then same with the full dance or the chorus, I drew a little mushroom in the needed column, which I thought was fun. Some of the dances that I've learned are Zoo by Taeyong, Butterfly by Luna, No Diggity by One Us, Fiesta by IZ*ONE, Maverick by The Boys, Adore You by 17, and Pop by Neon. Now, I will admit, I haven't learned Pop or Adore You, but I've learned the chorus of Zoo, Butterfly, and No Diggity. Now, Butterfly and No Diggity I learned for the audition for this dance team. Zoo I just learned because it was a really fun dance. And then Fiesta and Maverick are the very first two dances that I'll be doing. Now, I will post a link after we film because there is a YouTube page where my dance team posts their covers, but I don't want to post it until I actually see how I do, because if it's garbage, then y'all never heard about me joining a dance team, okay? Not the group. Like, if I'm garbage in the song, then it's over. And then Adore You by 17, we're learning to perform at the 17 concert. So outside before the concert starts, my dance team's gonna perform it, and I'm actually really, really excited for that one. And then Pop by Neon. Ooh, it is just so cute, and I've sort of learned it. I just need to sit down and officially learn everything the correct way. It's so fun. And I apologize if you don't give a lick about K-pop. I didn't about a year ago, but I fell into the rabbit hole and I love it. Now, the page I'm working on here is my books read, which is also really easy and self-explanatory. So it's just a long list, but then any book with a flower next to it is a new read. Now, typically I would do a little star, but keeping with the theme, I thought I drew a little flower, and I actually love how that looks. So I might have to keep that up for future years to come, I guess. I really like how this looks simply because it's just a long list, and the page typically is pretty filled, both vertically and horizontally, because I include the book name and the author. But this is the last page that I have in my journal here, and I will admit I left a lot of pages out. I had like a goals tracker and a theme gallery, and all of those things were just left empty. So I transferred the pages that I actually used, which were just these couple, but I really hope you enjoyed and were able to gather some inspiration for your own journal. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the very end. It literally means the world to me that you stuck around this long. Seriously, y'all are some MVPs up in here, and I love you so much. I really hope that I was able to provide you with some inspiration. I know many of you probably already set up your new year, mid-year, new journal. But just in case any of you are like me, where you just fill up a journal and you keep using it no matter if it's the end of the year or the new year, then maybe this video will help you. And if not, thank you regardless for watching. Y'all are awesome. And if you like the video, please do give it a like. It really helps with the algorithm. And so does commenting. You don't have to, but I do recognize y'all's names when you comment multiple times. And it just brings me a lot of joy to know that there's a lot of you that keep coming back to watch my videos. It still boggles my mind. It really does. If you want to see more journaling or bookish content from me, please do consider subscribing. And I really, really hope to see you in the next one. Toodles!